were lucky enough to have some of the family members on the set with us, and they said that their mother was very much like that. She allowed him the space to be who he was, but also held a consciousness for him that reflected that there was something more that he could look at than hatred, and I think she was proud to be a part of that change in his life. And every time it's important to talk about and tell stories that reflect to us where we need to go and how much an individual can change the course of the lives of many.
She loved her cookie lady. She's our cookie lady. She's part of the Ann gang now.
I wish I'd met her. That's one thing, the only regret I have is that I never met her and sat down with her face to face.
She would have been a loss for words, which is rare, which was rare. She probably would have had a lot of crying moments, and I'm trying not to cry. And just overwhelmed with gratitude that this is happening. Yeah.
I think all of us, wherever you are in the world, we're looking for a way to connect more. We're more global, and it scares some people, and it makes other people want to get closer together, get to know each other more. A story like this, where you have what seems like insurmountable odds, and people can break through that and become human, I think it's important for the world. I'm an incredible man. In many ways, he was responsible for bringing these two people together and getting them to, I think, break through something that would have been impossible to break through without his influence. Yeah.
Well, we're in this really hyper-tense times, supercharged racially, and not even just racially, just there's a lot of division in this country, and here's a story about two people on polar opposite sides of ideological spectrums who come to learn about each other by just talking to each other and getting to know each other, and what a profound difference it makes in their lives and the lives in their community, and I think it's a really inspiring story.
When the script came to me, it had this incredible story of this strong Black woman, Ann Atwater, and I have 3 daughters. They're on the carpet today, and I was like, this is the legacy I want to leave to them. So I made it my goal to get this film made. It was so great when we screened it in Durham to see the family's reaction, and then you knew you got it right. So it was a great decision. I'm glad that he was the one to direct it, and I'm so happy we got Taraji.
This is a story about people and a relationship that we'd never heard before, and we just felt that it resonated on so many levels. Even though it took place in 1971, the events really have a lot to tell us about what we should be doing in 2019.
Just when I first heard about it, when CP died in 2005, I read it in Time magazine, and I thought, how did that happen? The change he went through. I read the book, I saw the documentary, I saw who Ann Atwater was, and it struck me as, especially they were both in the documentary talking so fondly of that time and what happened to them, and I thought, well, that's a great movie. As a first-time director, to have Sam Rockwell and Taraji and Babou and Heche, I mean, it makes my job so much easier. It's a little intimidating at first because they're so good, and great actors want to collaborate, so you're talking, but they were all so open and giving, so it was great. I mean, it was a real collaborative experience. We all knew why we were there. There was some tough subject matter, tough language, but they were all great. It was a really, they're not all great sets like that, and this one was. Because I had Ann's support early on, I knew Ann for 3 years before she died. Then I met her daughters and Ann Nakia, her granddaughter, then CP's family, both of his living children, their grandchildren, well, he has 3 living children, but Larry is still up at Murdoch, you know. And then Bill Riddick, who's still alive, and his wife embraced me, and we had 3 years of talking while I was writing. And then Howard Clement, I got to meet him and his wife. And so all these family members were so supportive and trusting in me of doing this. And I kept them apprised along the way, asked for their input. And so when we had our screening in Durham 2 weeks ago, that was it for me. As long as they were happy and felt that I portrayed their parents and loved ones in a way they were proud of, and that was real and it was emotional for them, and they all felt that way. And that was like, that was done then. I was like, okay, I'm good.
It was an amazing story. I saw the documentary and then I read the script and it blew me away. I just thought it was an amazing story. I had a great time with Taraji. I've been kind of obsessed with her, and I think she's amazing. Ever since I saw Hustle and Flow and Benjamin Button, I think she's phenomenal.
Well, this story is very important, and it's poignant, and it's needed now, and it's a testament of how hate is taught, and it can also be unlearned. Every human wants love, and the way and how they find themselves in these hate groups is because they're looking for love, you know. And once Ann tapped into her humanity and her Christianity, and she was able to see CP as a human, and she was able to change, so she could be the change she wanted to see in him. Sam is incredible. I mean, I was always a fan of his, and I worked with Leslie Bibb, his girlfriend, first, in No Good Deed, and when she told me who her boyfriend was, I was like, oh my God, I have to meet him, I want to work with him, and she introduced us, and his sentiment was the same. He wanted to work with me, and we put it in the universe, and here we are. I mean, I was just blown away when Robin Bissell, our writer-director, sent me an actual voicemail of Ann, excited that the cookie lady was playing her. So that took a little pressure off, to know that the family welcomed it and that she absolutely wanted me to play her, so it helped.